All right. Um, hey guys, I made a video before, um, and I just reacted when I actually blocked those comments. And yeah, because those people that ended up reacting to what I said, I guarantee you they didn't even pay attention to what I was trying to mean when I said all those things. So, I'm gonna continue a let's play of Monster Hunter Stories 2, and this is the second let's play. You know, yep, 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 yep. And so, uh, there was a lot of there was like a few fake YouTube names, and I guarantee you this had to be Hassan or Denim, right? Because some YouTubers just really hate it when someone actually they, they tell the truth about the other person. And so it's just it's dumb. It's stupid because like I'm not really gonna pay any more attention to those comments because they're really dumb, you know, and they didn't really fully understand what I was trying to express, you know. They make it like I'm just calling them like halfway to make them to make them say that I was trying to put something against their stupidity as a person. No, I was trying to put the example just because they pay attention to one thing and then they just say and respond in a different way to a point where like they just don't understand. Like they're going against their own kind because Israel is against Palestinians, their own people, their own nationality. But the other side had to live in a separate part of the town. That was Gaza. And so it's dumb. It's pointless to explain to some people when some of those people are just dumb because that's how they ended up taking Tectone's channel down on Twitch. But YouTube works a little bit different. You see, if that person is putting the honest truth, it don't matter the other person has a different opinion, right? Don't listen to my opinion. That would be your opinion. Just follow your opinion. Just don't blame someone else because that person is his opinion is different, right? So, and his opinion is actually the truth. So, they blame it on the person who has the truth as an opinion. And the way they think of it is different, right? Just keep that to yourself. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself. You know, you just don't agree with the person, then move on. Okay? If you want to be mad at someone, don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself. You know? Because that's your opinion and you're just being toxic with your opinion. So, you know, see, I don't want to be too involved with other toxic people who blame everything on the other person instead of trying to be honest and tell the truth. I don't want that. So the next few comments that show up, and if they're gonna be like, oh, you're dumb, not us, you're stupid, I don't want to get involved too much with that. So when that happens, if there's a comment that comes into the video when this stream is uploaded, let's just say I just won't pay attention. That's it. That's all. I just won't pay attention. Because I know that people regardless will try to pressure me or try to scare me, which it won't work. Okay? You don't try and scare someone, you know, and so that's just them, but this is me, right? I want to think as a normal person would think and respect other people and other countries and people that live here from different countries. So, yeah, I just want to stick that up, because the other person could think it's wrong for anime to exist, and the other side could say this is just part of their culture, and it don't have to be something sexual, because the one anime that is existing, no matter what, people are gonna put it as something inappropriate, right? But think about it, even SpongeBob SquarePants, even some of these family-friendly cartoons, family-friendly animations like CGI, like Gumby, right? But it's not really Gumby. There's a lot of family-friendly cartoons that actually put adult jokes. And some people just don't understand that SpongeBob SquarePants has some adult jokes, but in a way they make it where it's hard for the kids to actually understand that these are adult jokes. So instead of blaming it on animated, like Japanese anime, you're just blaming Japanese anime instead of the other thing, right? You should be blaming all these other cartoons that are family friendly, right? Try and censor those too, completely. You won't even be aware that a family-friendly cartoon has a adult joke,
Welcome.
It's weird because if you watch certain SpongeBob SquarePants cartoons, there's usually some adult jokes that are either something that nobody would understand at all, ever, and then there are some jokes when you're at the teenage years or over, you start to realize that some of those adult jokes were meant to be sexual jokes, but they put it in a different way to a point where they're just trying to confuse you. And so every cartoon, every real life film, everything that contains something that you're not understanding the actual joke, that's just pointless. It's like you don't understand that Avatar: The Last Airbender has some of that adult jokes in it. You're just not understanding that it's actually an adult joke. Think about it, man. You're watching a family-friendly film. You saw something that you learned after that, and then you put the pieces of the puzzle together. You're finally aware that even kids' cartoons have adult jokes. Because nothing is ever for kids. Not SpongeBob, not these family-friendly games, because some of these family-friendly games actually point into adult joke. It's just they make it where kids will not understand entirely. But when they're a teenage and then they become adults, regardless, when they're teenagers, they're gonna learn this shit anyways. And then when you're fully grown adult, you're gonna try to, put that cartoon because your kids won't really understand the meaning of the joke. And they won't actually understand that it's an adult joke in it. So why? Why are you putting it against Disney? Why are you putting it against all these anime stuff, cultured anime stuff? There's some really good anime with really nice stories. And instead you have to just push that franchise away and try to get it away from this global thing, right? You're trying to kill it instead of letting it continue as a franchise because you think in your head is just, this is not appropriate. And some of the things, they're not even showing a lot of skin, right? There are anime games that don't really show bottom to top, where you have the female parts and you don't have to show the bottom female part. That's not really showing in a lot of these console gacha games, and you're putting it against them because of what you think the meaning of sexual is, right? But yet you try to get a girlfriend. You got in that position where you got in a sexual relationship just to have a kid, right? Dude, there's just so many dumb people who would just try to put it against you because you're saying something they don't like, but yet that's what they want you to think, but they're doing it behind the the scenes anyway. They're doing it in secret. They don't want anybody to know that they're actually doing it. So don't put anime in that category. If it's a regular anime where you have actual stories, you know. But like, yeah, it's stupid how people are just coming towards me because, you know, I just decide to make content on the truth, right? If I post something where I explain political wise, it's to put the hard honest truth about the guy who's our president. But the others, if you mention them in that category, they're just gonna try and bait you and try to say, come on, fall for the bait, you know? They don't like how another person sees the things that they're doing is similar to this guy who's our president. Like, it's dumb. You know, you're putting it on someone when that person, you don't even have actual evidence. Either if you say he had tattoos in his fist, nah, he didn't have no tattoos in that, all those fingers. When those fingers aren't easy to fit those words that big into his knuckles, no. Man, my knuckles is really tiny, you know? It's like, it's not big at all. So anything that you would try to fit into a picture it won't be any useful, it won't be helpful, it won't help you win. Because I never had a tattoo. So my mom teaches me the meaning of clean and the meaning of something that she don't like, which is tattoos. My mom isn't really a tattoo person, so my dad is following the same footsteps by teaching me and showing me that it's not right. So I never did anything like that. It's like you're accusing me of something I didn't do. That's what Trump did to the other side, and he also does it to people who are from a different nationality who became citizens here. And so ICE is just a dumbass group, and I think they should be taken down because they're just trying to harm people who are citizens, and Trump tells ICE to take them out because to him, he'll put in your record and make it look like you're not a citizen. So, and you as ICE, you're put in that record because he decided to put you as a citizen and other people as not a citizen, right? I don't know. I mean, Trump is going to go down because he's putting misclaims, misinformation, and false allegations, and then try to put false records saying that this guy is a criminal and he had a tattoo in his knuckles, which he does not, because when he goes to the jail, because Trump is sending that guy to another place where there's a jail there, but then that jail, that place, is already checking everything he had, look-wise and identity. They didn't find nothing. Why? Because I guess I made a mistake, okay? Trump always makes mistakes. He makes so many, and then he makes the ultimate taboo, which is going to get him in trouble when they decide to say, oh, get him out, right? But you know what? Things are moving the people's way, the citizens' ways. Trump is now being completely investigated because now people are trying to see and check up what he's trying to do. And yeah, he didn't put the Epstein files. Guess what? It didn't matter because they told him, even if you don't put that evidence, we're still gonna realize that you're trying to hide something. And the president usually can't hide evidence. He has to let the evidence go, because let's say if he wasn't really involved, then regardless, he'll be safe, right? So why is he afraid of letting that evidence of Epstein? Because they don't want to. They're chicken, and they just want to make other people afraid instead of them having to be afraid. you do something thinking that you don't have to worry, but you know that you're gonna get in trouble. So instead, you hide it. Instead of doing the honest and right thing, you just hide it. It's like, dude. So yeah. And so if a person puts toxicity to me in my comments, I don't care. I'm just gonna block it by deleting it and then not pay attention at all what it says. I'll just remove it. Like, what's the point of me reading it when I know it's just gonna piss me off even further? So, like, best not for me to even pay attention. I'm just gonna ignore it and then report it and remove it. Yeah. And yeah, people like you would have your own opinions. If you think it's right to harm your own people, to think that the person who is one of your own is just he's just how you say, using you. And you don't want that. Nobody wants to be used by their own nationality or anyone in general. So like, geez, man, it's stupid. And like, I just don't care. So whatever you guys post, if some of you are just really against what I say, if you post anything, I'm just gonna report it so it could get removed. Because I don't want to be completely involved with any type of toxicity at this point. I'm just, I don't care. I just want to make a stream and just not have to worry about toxicity. So I'm just ignoring and just reporting. I'm not going to even read it because, like, what's the point of reading something when that person is putting you to read something they're just trying to piss you off on purpose. Like, they're just trying to lure you, they're trying to bait you, they want you to go there so you can respond, And yeah, I made a short, kind of somewhat short stream before to actually just, be like, oh, okay. But like, there's so many people that would falsely put information that is not true. They would try to put something against you just so you could continue triggering, kind of like a troll. But yeah, I'm not gonna be baited because I'm not gonna, pay attention to those stupid people that want to put toxicity towards me because of the things I don't agree with them, right? See, and I used to talk about denims like I just, think that every human being does things because the things they had to struggle and go through, right? But then I looked at it differently and saw the truth and saw the light. Because at first I used to be like, oh, maybe denims just has to do things because, when a man or a woman have to get a job and these men and women don't have to be engaged or couples or even girlfriend or boyfriend or even friends, so they don't really know each other. They're just doing their own thing, right? Every person in the city, in this world, does things sometimes for the sake of trying to, support their family. And so, let's say if a man, I'm going to put the word man because I'm actually a man, but I don't resort to this thing. But let's say if that man is struggling, right? And no job will accept him for hire, okay? When some men, even women, some men and some women would try to find themselves some way to make a little money to support their family. Some people come to the idea that they're just gonna have to use their own bodies to make that money, right? And the woman could usually use their bodies to make money because they really need to help their family. So some men or some women they have to force themselves to work a really bad job that they usually don't want to do. But they do it anyways because they're doing it to support their family. But if some people that use their bodies, but they only do it because they just want to make money for themselves, then that's a different story, right? And so I checked up a lot of big content creators who are understanding of these situations, because there's a lot of female content creators that somewhat abuse this sort of thing too, because they're not doing for the sake of their family, they're just doing the sake of making their sales money, not to help their family. And sometimes these female who use their body to make money, some of them don't really have parents that they're with. They're in their own house. It's not right, I mean, it's not really right for you to just give in and just decide to use your body for the sake of harming yourself and making money for yourself. And it's not really good in general to fall to a point where you're now using your body, even if it's for your family's sake. Don't go through that. Don't let that put you in the mind where you have to do it. But just try your best to find a job, so that way you're able to live a happy life. And I know the world isn't really that easy, but I never had to experience it, but I've been through somewhat like that. When I used to go to school, I never understand what I usually have, and would make it hard for me to communicate with other kids like me when I was young, okay? And then when you get to a point of age where you start realizing what you did back then, you didn't actually get the chance to learn in school because you were just sleeping in your desk, putting your head down, you had your hoodie up, because that's what I used to do. When I went to class, I would just literally fall asleep and have my hood over my head. And every time I do that, the teachers would try to get me to focus on the lesson, but I just kept sleeping, and I just made excuses after excuses after excuses, to a point where I finally learned my lesson. So when you go to school, you have to pay attention to the teachers. Don't ignore, because then later in your life, you're gonna feel like you regret it, because you don't even bother to learn stuff in the timeline, even when you're out of school. When you're 30s or 29, before you finish, let's say the time after you finish your high school, and then you're supposed to go to college, but instead you can't because you never paid attention to your lessons in school. So instead you're forced to live at home and not even bother to go to college because you didn't bother to fully try to learn. And so it makes it more harder. But do you have to try and move forward? Yeah. Nothing's ever gonna be easy, but nothing's actually that complicated, because there's other people that would understand you and know how you respond and know how you are. Because if you go to some place that you usually go as a customer, and the people there know you already, and then you just decide to ignore and not try to move forward, okay? In order to get away from the spot you're in, and let me tell you guys right now, I've been through a lot of guilt. I've been through a lot of regrets, right? Because back then I used to stop a stream, and if I get emotional, I won't even stream the next day, because I would try to let it all out. and I don't want to make other people feel bad because I feel bad, you know? But like, it's like, we don't have to move forward. We'll just stay in this one spot and just move backwards, right? Because that's what Trump wants to do. That's what these two YouTubers, alongside that other female YouTuber, because there's two female YouTubers who are actually doing the path of Netanyahu, and they're not trying to act seriously enough. And instead, when someone actually exposes the truth about them, they're gonna try. They're gonna try and bring you to the trap because they just want to move past. They want to move to the past, not the future, not the present. They want to move all the way back in the timeline, okay? They want to move to where every person who is a white American, instead of having a black American, because now that white American is trying to put blacks as a slave. And I was like, it's stupid because the things that white supremacists try to, white Americans trying to bring white supremacists, that was a bad idea. Just like Malcolm X brought black supremacists, and that was his mistake too. When you put white supremacists above, or if you put black Americans above, putting them as black supremacists, because they're just trying to put black Americans on top of their enemy, right? Because the other side just didn't decide to appreciate other Americans, so they just, they didn't like each other. And of course, they still don't like each other, because the history of white supremacists and the history of black supremacists, all that coming together just screws up everything. When you put white Americans upon black Americans, or black Americans upon white, that just shows that you don't want to agree. So the white supremacists, the white Americans, put white supremacists against the other side. That's why they put it back at them. And the reason, the way Malcolm did things was because white Americans just try to control everything, and so it was out of whack, right? So black Americans actually in a way harmed themselves, but then now there's black Americans that are not even trying to put their own on top of white Americans. Because think about it, white Americans put it on top of black Americans first. And now black Americans ended up putting it against white Americans. That was with Malcolm X. He made the mistake that white Americans did too. So it's like they say, none of us is perfect. We're all gonna end up making mistakes. So, and now white Americans are just repeating that mistake, and just instead of just stopping to put white Americans on top of others, making them the one who's in the top ranks, right? Because they're billionaires mostly. But you gotta respect each other. Don't have nothing against one another. You have to, you have to get along. Because if you get along, you don't have this conflict of white supremacists on black Americans, and you wouldn't have it like black Americans against white Americans. Because you're just putting yourselves against each other. Like Trump tries to put it against other people to make others put against the other side. Hassan and Denims, they just really are toxic. They're just really toxic, and they're just breaking the laws, breaking the rules to get to the point where they're at now. How did they become big? By abusing the rules and abusing the law, by breaking the law and breaking the rules. And then they react to a politic video where they don't fully understand. Because if they were understanding, they wouldn't be laughing. They wouldn't even respond with a laugh or smile or grin. They would see it as something that is to be taken seriously. And so, yeah, Hassan ended up reacting to Pam Bondi when she was in court. He saw a news clip where Pam Bondi is literally in a bad position, and then Hassan is just laughing early on in that reaction. You don't laugh at something that is really, really important and really critical because, you make it look like you agree with the side that is putting Pam Bondi away, but then you're okay and you don't laugh if it's you, right? You have to understand, you have to respect others because otherwise others won't respect you. If you don't respect the person that you're criticizing instead of being honest, because when you're not respecting at all, you know, and the person is being serious, he's being honest, and that person just laughs like it's a joke. It's like it's not a joke. And now I actually see what Tecton had to go through. I can now understand where a lot of these big content creators just decide to ignore whatever people say. It's like it's stupid. Another person trying to blame one person because that one person is honest and he's truthful, and then you try to make shit up because you yourself try to make the other person look like he's a fool and like he's stupid as well, right? Like you. And so, you gotta agree to disagree, right? Some people are not gonna agree, and you will agree because you actually understand what is actually going on. Like it's people are just so unmature. And yeah, I could be immature too, but I always take things seriously when something gets serious, And like you don't laugh when the person is going through something that is very serious. Like, but if I would laugh at someone, it would be at Pam Bondi because she's not really putting the truth, and all she does is lie. So when she gets into trouble, and you already knew she was already going to get herself in trouble, that's something that you can laugh at after everything is. After they stop putting the serious things, they start laughing at the bad side, then laugh, right? You don't laugh when that person is actually not trying to harm and that person is not innocent. If that person is not innocent, then you laugh, right? If the person is innocent and they're trying to blame it on someone who's innocent, then yeah, laugh at your side that is not innocent. But laugh at the person is not innocent and she's just making it look like a joke. She laughs, you laugh at her too, right? She's laughing at you guys, laugh at her back, right? So it's crazy because first they laugh at Pam Bondi and now they're just laughing out of control, making fun of both sides, right? So is it wrong to not make fun of a person who is actually innocent? Or is it funny to make jokes of a person that is innocent, but you make it look like that person ain't innocent and you don't take it seriously enough? It's like nobody respects other people, and you just, if you don't respect the other person, he's just not going to respect you either. You put disrespect towards that person, he's going to put it back towards you with disrespect. Like, nobody likes being called somebody who is not a somebody, right? The person who is not a somebody, that person wouldn't laugh because he's not being honest. He is being honest, but he's changing it to where he's not honest, right? He swaps from being honest to just being not so honest, and he just acts like a really not so mature person. And can people like me sometimes be immature because I just want to make some positive laughs and happiness and smiles? So, when the stuff is not the person is not taking shit seriously enough. You just have to make something that would cheer others, because the person who is not being honest or serious and not willing to reply, then you're gonna have to laugh at that person, because the other person is just doing stuff to make other people feel bad. You don't want that. You don't want people to suffer because you made that mistake where people now have to suffer. You know? When I make fun of Trump, it's because he doesn't understand the things that he's doing is gonna force him to a point where he'll have a target. When people become something more, but because they become something more and they know the hard darn truth, they're gonna end up with a target on their head if they're just literally running for politics. See, I don't really try to think of myself as a leader material, because I know that there's some things I wouldn't really be good at, and I know that if I actually try to run as president, then I'll get myself a bigger target on my head. So it's best not to get too much involved with politics when when they're doing something and you try to imitate. That's not a good thing, because when you try to imitate the things that you are not, see, and I admit I'm not someone that would try to be involved with leading or trying to put things against other people, but like when somebody is lying about you, you have to say it back, because you have to fight back by using words, not fists, just words. And some people would go overboard with toxicity words because you don't agree to what they agree with, and you agree with something else instead of them. It's like Trump. When you don't support him, he's just gonna abuse you, take advantage of you, and make you suffer, right? He just don't care. But like you as a person who actually cares, you don't really try to do things because you just want to. No, you do it because you think it's right? Just to make sure the other people are cheered up. So if you're forced to make a joke about the person who is putting himself as a joke, then like just do it to make other people laugh. Talk about what he does to make himself look like a joke, so you could cheer the people that don't really think he's a good person or a nice guy or a good leader, any of that. He put himself as a joke first, so now you're gonna expose that joke from him that he put out there, right? It's like, nah. But yeah, I'll probably be going to sleep in a little bit, because I just feel like every now and then I can actually sleep now, and that's something good. When a person starts to realize that he pushed worries on other people, and now he's gone without those worries have left his mind and his body and his emotions, and now you don't have to feel about those worries anymore because you let them go. But like after this, I'm probably just gonna get the rest of the night's sleep, and not just try to take it easy. And if people put comments towards me, and if I see some of what the first comment is bad, I'll just ignore it and choom choom, delete. Shoot all those papers down to a point where they don't have it, they don't show up right. Because all people want to do from my comments is just tell me I'm wrong when they're the ones who are wrong themselves. They just put a lot of shit on top of other people who don't usually agree with them and just blame it on you, right? You don't you're not trying to get into like an argument, but you made a video trying to expose the things that some people do, And sometimes because they're bigger content creators, some of them just abuse it. Even if you're a smaller content creator or big content creator, they will still try to bring you down. They will still try to harm you and try to scare you. You know, it's like, okay, let me get Ranmar here. And it's funny because I actually have disabilities, and this guy just really don't. They just don't care. They'll just put you into a spot, even if you don't have disabilities or if you have disabilities. It's like they just really, really want to pull you through their trap. And I now see a lot of these things that Tectone had to deal with, all this stupid words that people try to use to try and scare you. And like, they're just really trying to bait you in, you know? Now I can see what they try to do to bait Tectone or Asmongold. It's like, you know, the thing that Asmongold would say, it is what it is, right? The person's gonna try to bait you, and because he can't do it, it is what it is, you know? And it's like, a lot of these other YouTubers, they're literally taking that inspiration while using that word, it is what it is, because Asmongold actually inspires so many people, and Tectone, he has this way of getting people to like his content because he's always trying to be honest, you know? But will there be times where a person sometimes don't use honesty? Of course, probably. Like, there's other content creators that don't really try to continue with honesty, and they just put it against each other, you know? It's like, you see Tectone, and you realize he's not really a bad person. He's actually pretty cool. I mean, we can all be assholes. We can all be understanding of other people, even though some of us may be assholes. But we learn, we grow, we just come to understand the things that other people do to try and get you in, you know? And so when I saw those comments, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna fall for this, you know? It's like, they're just trying to get my attention so that way they could put more towards me and more pressure towards me, and then try to scare me. Like, and they would try to scare me, right? So the inspiration that people get from Tectone and Asmongold, they get that motivation to make content where they're actually telling the truth and they're being honest of themselves. You know, are they going to share everything? Hell no. Depending on what they feel comfortable sharing, right? I remember Tectone made a video that he had, I believe he uploaded from the stream, but I'm pretty sure he might have not. But like, he was reacting to this one guy who, when he talks about certain animes, and some people may not agree to everything he says, but that's the truth, right? When some animes have a good rating and some anime has a bad, that guy was literally just putting the truth, right? And when it came to Crunchyroll, that's just the honest truth, because Crunchyroll started increasing the price of when you want to watch anime on their app, their platform, you know? And then there were things about Sony that bought out Crunchyroll. And to be honest, that is actually true. And just because he doesn't like the anime you love doesn't mean you should just hate him for not liking an anime that you like, right? Because people will have different opinions when it comes to anime, when it comes to the service, the pricing, right? Like Crunchyroll has been done and they've been increasing the prices. But does that mean people would usually stop completely to support that price? Well, some people not really, because some people are actually, they don't care about the price because they have the money to afford it, right? And like, it's dumb. That guy had to go through so much because other people didn't agree with him, so they just got mad at him. They start putting him in pressure, and then there's other things that he had to deal with. Like this guy, well, he's not a boy, he's a guy, he's an adult, and he just went through so much. Like, and Tecton decided to help him out. And that's what he did, right? And I think that's pretty cool, helping someone who has a little bit of struggles in his emotions, and he just feels really, really, he almost went completely through despair, which means he literally went through desperation because he was almost losing that path, because people that usually go to his channel don't really like what he's saying. But I can understand what he's saying, and that's his opinion. So I respect that. I respect his own opinion. But like, when people who bully him, that's really unforgivable because he didn't deserve that, A lot of the people that viewed his video, they took it too far. Others actually still cared and supported this guy. But like, you have so many people that would only try to make someone feel miserable and put him in through a desperation to going to despair, and just try to, the people trying to force him to a point where he just feels like he doesn't belong, that he should just off himself. Dude, that's just wrong. That's just really, really wrong. It's like, and plus, you know what? I'm just gonna try and put back my subscribing to him, because I did subscribe to him one time, but then now, because back then I just unsubscribed because I just didn't think, I didn't want to believe a lot of that information was true, but it was true. And it's just, people just don't want to accept the things that he's saying about animes, or if he didn't like that anime but you did. But it was nothing like that with me. I almost thought he was just being toxic. But he's just sharing his own opinion. And it's not about the anime, it's about the things that is happening to anime. But who cares who likes what anime? Because I know I like the anime I love. I love romance and drama genre anime. I like the genre of anime where it's just based off of comedy and drama and romance. And other people are just not gonna like that sort of stuff. They like the action, bloody gore type of anime. Other people like the kids' memories, like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, because some people actually grew up watching that. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Naruto as a kid. And so there are other animes that I also prefer to watch, and other people just like other anime. But does that give me the right to judge him because the anime he likes, and just feel pissed off because he likes a different anime? No. When a person goes through that desperation and guilt phase, trust me, I've been through that. I've been through almost completely despair, but I never decide to commit suicide because that's just not me. I don't really like the pain, so I just tossed that thought of committing suicide away, because I just don't want that. I just don't want it, because what's the point of laying yourself down and giving up because of something that other people try to put upon you, right? And I've already experienced that before because I used to, I don't know if you guys knew this, but like I used to go through that desperation phase because I used to get really negatively triggered. And that was when my mom was still here back then. And then she was still here late last year. And to that point where I used to still get, I used to still ended up feeling that negative guilt and just anxiety, overwhelming anxiety. And you're just like, I can't take it anymore. I'm just gonna let myself, I'm just gonna, abandon my life and then just forget and just not care about anything, right? Let's say if you do that, that's just gonna harm yourself and you're just gonna be stuck. You can't move forward. And like that can really harm your own self. You're really harming yourself because you're just letting that emotional negative phase consume you, But in a few more minutes, I'm gonna be ending the stream, and I know I didn't really get the chance to get the Let's Play finished, so I mean I didn't even get to the spot I was needing to do. So what I'll do is I'll leave this as a thing on the channel, but I'll just have to change the title a bit and just, because I am sorry, I was supposed to do the Let's Play, and I just think so hard to share everybody that I also went through that. A lot of people will go through it. It's normal, and then you just have to get your ass in gear, just move forward, Don't let that negative emotion consume you, because I almost completely had that happen to me, because I just had negative triggers from the past in 2024 until 2025, and then early this year somewhere. So, I just want to go forward. Don't stay stuck in that one spot. But like, all right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream, and then whenever this stream uploads as a video on the channel, I'll just try to change it, And what I'm gonna title is, I'm gonna title this stream when it uploads, I'll put it like me just expressing myself. And so I'll say I'm just expressing myself because I decided to just choose to share the things that I go through that are similar like everybody else. And so I'm gonna put sharing my emotions, my feelings that I went through back then and that I'm moving forward, But alright guys, sorry for not trying to make an actual Let's Play happen, but like tomorrow early in the afternoon I'll just do a second Let's Play instead of just sharing the things that I go through, that everyone in this world goes through. But like, I just really hope you guys can try to understand and try to, if you need to express yourself, do what you need to do. That if it makes you feel better, do it. But if you feel like you have to bottle it up for a while and you just don't feel comfortable saying it to that person, that if you're just feeling really down, just know you have always someone there that is willing to listen to you, on your family or friends, because that's what friends do for other friends. That's what family does for their young ones. They'll be willing to help you, But like, I just gotta go. So, alright guys, make sure to always think positive and don't let the sadness and negative emotions consume you, because you don't want that emotional negative emotion to bring you down. And I will be ignoring the comments of people that are from Hassan because I feel like that person that was commenting me because I said, "Oh, Denim is stupid and Hassan's stupid." I feel like those two are just trying to get me into their toxicity. So, all right, guys. I hope everyone has a good night, and I hope everyone wakes up happy, and just have a good night and have a good day and have a good sleep. All right.